Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Yasha if you're new here. First of all, thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I can't believe we hit 1,000, that's insane. Yeah, so anyways, if you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you do. Obviously like this video and send it to your friends if you think they might benefit from it. I would really appreciate it. But with that, let's get into the video. Today, if you haven't already figured it out, we're talking about red flags from programs. I know I talk about red flags in applications and red flags here and there, but a red flag in a program is something you really want to stay far away from. The first red flag that you'll really find from a program is that there is just no time to talk to residents without, faculty around. If they don't have either a pre-interview dinner or like a whatever virtual Zoom get-together or something after the interview or something during the interview even, then I would say that's a red flag and probably something that the faculty, they don't want you to talk to the residents or something along those lines. You may not know why and it may be difficult to figure out, but if you don't have the opportunity to talk to residents about the program without anybody there, I would definitely consider that a red flag. You want to be able to ask the hard questions, talk to residents about culture, talk to them about, times that a resident struggled, things like that, without faculty being there to listen in. And so if they don't have that, I would definitely consider that a red flag. The second thing is if they're kind of not totally clear about their board pass rate. And I think that lots of programs have like a couple of people that have failed, but if they're saying there's a certain percentage of people that either pass or fail every year, I would consider that a red flag as well. I don't think that you want to go to a program where you could be in that percentage of people who fails. You definitely want to be at a program that like prepares you well for the boards and can prove that by having a really strong board pass rate. Another thing that I really consider a red flag is if you were asked an illegal question, the ones that kind of make you uncomfortable, things like, are you married? Are you planning to have children? What else do they ask? Like where else you applied? Things of that nature, things that are off limits and off the table, they really shouldn't be asking you that. And so if they ask you a question like that, I would really consider like, what does that really mean for this program? Do they just not abide by those types of rules? Do they not respect their residents? Things of that nature. And while that might seem like I'm kind of extrapolating a little bit, just think about it. Like these are known illegal questions that they are still choosing to ask you as an applicant. They don't even know you. And so I would definitely consider that a red flag. Don't go to places that treat you like that. You want to go to a place that respects you as an individual, like respects your choices and respects your answers no matter what they are. Like you don't want to be judged based on the answers of those types of questions. The fourth is just kind of like if there are many residents that have left in the past, or if residents just like generally seem unhappy or they say negative things about the program to you in a private interview or in a private setting, these are huge red flags. Residents should love their program. Residents should really enjoy working there and they should really feel respected by their colleagues. And if they're at a place where they feel the need to like tell you, someone random who they don't even know, bad things about the place so that you don't come there, like that should automatically be a red flag, and things are probably much worse than they are saying. So I would definitely consider that a red flag. If there are multiple residents that have left, if they're saying things that like, just kind of put you off a little bit, I just wouldn't mess with a place like that. The last red flag I really want to tell you about is just your gut feeling. I mean, do the residents look unhappy? Do they seem like, they're being forced to show up there? Did only 2 residents show up to like a pre-interview dinner or like a social type of thing like that? Those are red flags. If you're someone who likes like hanging out with your co-residents and your colleagues, then a place like that may not be where you want to end up. And I think all of us from time to time like to hang out and just like chill, obviously. So you want to be at a place where you can do that with your colleagues, especially radiology. We're not always working. We have one of the more chill residencies out there. So like you want to get along with your colleagues. You're going to be in the same room with them all day, every day. You really want to make sure you get along. So if you see residents that look visibly unhappy or like they are being forced to be there, I would take that and just think about like what that really means for the program. Just a couple honorable mentions that I wanted to throw in. I explicitly had a program tell me to go to a different place that I interviewed. First of all, it's an illegal question. They asked me where else I interviewed, but also they were like, you should go to that other program. That's a red flag. Absolutely not happening for me. I was not going to rank that place very high. Similarly, if they have a disorganized interview day and you like don't know where you're supposed to be and they're clearly like still trying to figure it out, I mean, those are things that should have been figured out at the beginning of the interview season. And if it's very disorganized, I think that just kind of speaks to the program as a whole. Obviously, that's different than technical difficulties. That does not mean that we all have technical difficulties. I've had technical difficulties, but if it's clearly disorganized and they don't know who's supposed to be interviewing whom and you don't know like where you're supposed to be, I think that just take that with a grain of salt and realize like what's really going on here, what's happening here. Did people not have time to figure this out? Did they not plan early enough to figure this out? Things of that sort. And of course, the last one is just people being mean and rude. There are definitely like stories of interviewers being rude to applicants. Oh, you only got this on your step. Oh, you only did this. Or just like straight out just being mean, you know, in normal interactions, and that's not cool, and you don't want to be working with someone like that. So I would say if you have an interaction like that and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, just remember that when it comes down to like ranking time, because unfortunately, those are the people that you're going to be working with, especially attendings who have been there for a long time. They're probably not going anywhere. You just don't want to be working with someone like that. These are the people that are going to affect like your environment, your happiness, you know, your well-being for the next 4 years. Just make sure you're at a place that you're happy. So yeah, those are just some things to be aware of. Remember that ranking is very important for you as an applicant because it can determine where you end up for the next 4 years. Well, you know, in a couple years, where you're gonna be for 4 years. And you wanna make sure that you're at a place that's going to treat you well and make you happy. And you don't wanna end up like some of the residents that are at the programs that, you know, may be less happy, or they don't feel like they're fulfilled, or maybe they have regrets about where they ended up matching. So you wanna be at a place that makes you happy, and you actually have control of that. So make sure that you evaluate programs critically. You want to make sure that you're looking at everything. And of course, a lot of times it just comes down to gut feeling and where you feel like you'll fit, and that's perfectly fine. But just make sure that you don't ignore some red flags that you potentially saw on your interview day. And with that, I will see you in the next one. Bye.